Hello viewers, me and team here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. In the last part we took out the Bed of Chaos and really all of the Lost Izalith path. So in this part we're going to be continuing on to where I would recommend to go next, mainly for one item. And if you're not trying to become a Dark Wraith, you might even come here first if you are familiar with the area. And that is the Tomb of Giants. So basically we're going to be going down through the catacombs and then towards the Tomb of Giants in this part. But before doing that, it looks like I'm making a run up to Quilana. So, why do I recommend doing it first, and what ring? The ring is the Gold Serpent Ring, which is... no, it's the Silver Serpent Ring. The Gold Serpent Ring boosts your item discovery, but the Silver Serpent Ring boosts the amount of souls you get from killing enemies. If you are making builds legit and not using like save files or hacks, then that ring is important to get you the souls you need for level ups, for buying Twinkling Titanite, really for anything along those lines. So it's very useful to have that ring early. In fact, one thing you could do is get it pretty close to the start of the game if you're willing to make some suicide runs. Now, to do that, you would need to basically run through the catacombs, beat the pinwheel, which you could do. He is technically a boss you could fight right away. It would just be difficult with base equipment, although still very doable, especially if you summon Paladin Leroy for the fight, which I won't be showcasing here because it's at this point I'm so strong that it's not worth my time to summon him or to reverse hollowing for him or anything along those lines. So, yeah. Not much point in summoning him.
Outstanding.
Well, all the things are throwing boulders at me.
I am blessed to have met you.
There we go, turn around.
I suppose I can call you fool no longer. I can hardly thank you enough. Please.
Quilana is awesome. One of the few appreciative NPCs, an excellent trainer. She doesn't go crazy on you and attack you. Quilana's just awesome. So, okay, nothing I really care about buying. Firestorm is alright, but it's strictly inferior to Chaos Storm and Fire Tempest. So, well, it has one slot, so it has that over Chaos Storm. But it's basically just a weaker Fire Tempest. There's really no reason to run it.
Let yourself go hollow, lest my time spent on you be wasted.
And you can get multiple Fire Tempests with multiple playthroughs. But she'll give you Fire Tempest after you go through her quest. If you discover her and talk to her before going through the Bed of Chaos fight, then she'll give you that for taking out the Bed of Chaos. Lore-wise, Bed of Chaos is actually her mother warped by the Flames of Chaos. Essentially, she tried to duplicate the flame and didn't succeed. That's a long story short. I'm not going to get too much into Dark Souls lore here. That has been covered very well in other YouTube videos, far more than I have explored it by Epic Name Bro. So just check out his videos if you want to see some Dark Souls lore, or some of other posters as well. And the lore's been covered pretty well. And interestingly, Dark Souls presents its lore mostly through its items in-game and things you can observe. It's a very different way of telling a story compared to basically having it spoon-fed to you. You can play through the game without knowing any lore at all, and it will change your perspective on even which ending you consider is good, or whether you consider any of the endings good, for example. And yeah, I get toxicked again. It's not ideal. I'm finally going to pick up Power Within at this point. It took me a while to bother doing it, but I do want to get a copy of it before going into New Game Plus, and it is useful to have in some circumstances, so I'm going to get it. Fortunately, I do have one blooming purple moss clump, so I can use that here, as you just saw. Cheap shot! Man, climbing up through the through the Blight Town is a bit of annoying, but you can do this pretty early on. Take that guy out. So, where was I? Oh, I was talking about Quilana and Pyromancies, but I think I really touched what I needed to there. I'm putting souls into that because I want to have some quality spells available in addition to my elemental weapons, just in case, and especially on future playthroughs. Anything that resists lightning can be handled pretty easily with Pyromancy, so with the exception of DLC content, which I'm thinking about picking up. Obviously, that's not going to be part of this playthrough, but yeah, I could show it if people are interested. Instant backstab! And the purple moss clump is actually from one of those toxic blow dart guys who, after shooting at me, decided to try and follow and fell to his death, I suppose. I'm not really sure what happened there. But, yeah. Just a couple whipping hits on this guy, I'll take him out. No real challenge. Just fighting one bloated, large club dude. And that bug thing is guarding power within, so we're gonna grab it. After killing anything else that can give us grief in the meantime. Now, if you crawl underneath that thing, it will, or if you go underneath this guy, he'll knock you off, and that stomp attack actually hurts a fair amount if you come here when level appropriate. I'm very over-leveled for this area now, so it can be a pain to get, although if you're fast, you can just suicide run for that. Alternatively, you can just shoot it with a crossbow or whatever. Eventually, you'll be able to kill it. I think you can come in from behind there as well. Lots of ways to approach that. But that's power within. Oh yeah, and the getting the silver ring. Going even further back to the start of my commentary. Because I'm going to be warping back to Firelink Shrine and heading into the catacombs now. But, yeah, if you want to, and you summon Paladin Leroy on the pinwheel, it's conceivable you could run through all of the Tomb of Giants in the dark and get to that ring at the very start of the game, really. And then just homeward bone out or whatever. And that'll make it a lot easier. All the bosses will give you more souls. In fact, there's even time after killing a boss to quickly menu swap the ring on and still get the boosted souls, even if you didn't fight the boss with the ring. But I usually find it easy enough for most bosses just to wear the ring from the start. Very few bosses require something else. Something like 4 Kings might. Oh, and yeah, there's a trick. Just use some souls to lower the chances of losing a lot if you die. You can use those souls of whatever. Yeah, Frampt isn't very excited about my choice of joining the Darkstalkers with Koth, but he can suck one. As far as I'm aware, neither of the Primordial Serpents are particularly trustworthy, as it turns out. So it really doesn't matter who you choose, or whether you choose one at all. Except for, of course, if you're going for the Dark Wraith's Covenant, because you want to invade people for the lulz. This build is really... You know, I'm taking it to too high of a level that I could invade normal questers, though. You really want to be around soul level 50 to 55 to invade most of the later game questing areas and ruin people's days. Anyway, I've entered the catacombs now. This path is pretty well known at this point. At the start of the game, this area was pretty tough if you didn't have a divine weapon. But once you know where to go, you can just run past everything. These skeletons will auto-resurrect. You cannot kill them unless you kill them with a divine weapon or you take out the necromancer that is responsible for them first. And in that case, the skeletons I just ran past, now that I've killed this necromancer, I don't need a divine weapon to permanently kill them. And yeah, I'm going to need to deal with them to use this bonfire. And yeah, you'll see I get souls for him. He's dead. If you kill a skeleton that is being resurrected by a necromancer, you will not get the souls. And it will fall apart once it runs out of health, but then it'll get back up. So just bear that in mind. But easy enough with really any elemental weapon. If you run by to the necromancers, you can deal with the skeletons in the catacombs. In my opinion, the only time it's really hard to progress without a divine weapon is against Nito, who is the boss of the Tomb of Giants. So, you know, you can run the catacombs pretty easily without a divine weapon if you know what you're doing. Less so the end of the Tomb of Giants. Alright. So, here's this necromancer. He immediately runs away, but if you know he's there, just chase him down and kill him quickly. And now all of these skeletons are killable. Whereas they would not have been otherwise. And the necromancer gets away, and then if you chase him, these guys all chase you, and then there's more skeletons. And it actually becomes a pretty annoying area because of it. Because it's hard to run by all the skeletons without getting yourself killed unless you're over-leveled. But if you catch that necromancer early, you know, with pyromancies, with a good backstabbing weapon, with an overpowered weapon like I have for this area now, then suddenly the area becomes much easier. The alternative is just to make a divine weapon. You just need one green shard and Blacksmith Andre. You have to beat the Moonlight Butterfly too to get that, but that's not hard to do. And then you can kill skeletons anyway, and it doesn't matter that the Necromancer ran away. So you have some options as to how to approach this area. Just lowering the bridge here. I'm just running by the skeletons for the most part because they'll resurrect. You saw me chop that guy down, not get souls. So pretty obvious I haven't killed their Necromancer yet. And they'll just keep coming back on me. So it's easier just to run past all the nonsense. There's a shortcut down there and to the right if you want to get further down, but I struggle to do that reliably sometimes, so I'm just going to kill this Necromancer and continue on this way. The only reason I'm not taking the fastest Catacombs shortcut is that I want to get to the blacksmith. And you have to get to Vamos, the blacksmith who does the fire weapons and chaos weapons. You have to drop down to him first. After that, the other shortcut will work to reach him, but it won't yet. So yeah, deal with all these skeletons now that I've killed the Necromancer. And once again, I just ran past everything to get to the Necromancer. Not too big a deal. Let's get a hacking on these skeletons. I notice I'm not getting souls for them while I'm drinking the Estus, so I'm going to book it down to the Necromancer. Because I don't want to deal with this nonsense. And yeah, there he is. No big deal. Have the poise to take a fireball and chop him down. And yes, this is how you get to Vamos, or one of the ways to get to Vamos. You just walk down kind of into the wall like that so you don't bounce off the other rock ledge and fall to your death. Which is a really annoying way to die. And yeah, I kind of fell through the hole there, so I'm going to take extra damage. But no big deal. I survived it, so... Or no, I guess I didn't take extra damage because I fell through the hole. That's interesting. Just negated it. So here we go, Vamos. And I think I neglected to pick up the Chaos Ember yet, so unfortunately, I cannot make a fire weapon plus 10 or a chaos weapon plus 5. And I only remembered that after I got here. I decided to, yeah, go ahead and upgrade my bow to fire, though. I don't have the stats and dexterity to upgrade a bow down a proper path with scaling, so no reason to do it for that. And the reason I prefer the short bow to the composite bow, even though the composite bow has a better attack rating, is that the short bow is very light. Only 0.5 equip burden, so you can throw it on any build, and it's extremely rare that its weight is going to affect your ability to roll your mobility. So it's a very useful utility item. You can poison people with it, do a little bit of chip damage at range, pull mobs and play versus an enemy. It's just nice to have if you don't have any better alternatives, you know, second weapons or whatnot. Anyway, we're up to Pinwheel. You'll take some damage dropping down into his area, but nothing serious. And he has very little health, so you don't really have to worry about him if you're coming here after an Orlando, which is probably the most convenient time unless you're trying for something specifically like the Silver Ring. Anyway, a couple swats and he's dead. If you have like an unupgraded weapon, the fight can actually be a little challenging. But if you have an elemental max weapon, less challenging, as you can observe. And he drops a mask. Don't worry, you can get any of the family masks you want later on. They'll be sold by a vendor that you can unlock, so you don't have to worry about it. But for now, we get the Mask of the Father, which improves your equip burden. But I'm not going to wear that, because we are now in the dark area, which is the Tomb of Giants. And I am wearing the Sunlight Maggot. Cast Light is a little bit more effective than the Sunlight Maggot. And I believe, I might be wrong about that. And the Skull Lantern is your other light source, but it has to replace a shield, so you can't block or two-hand weapons while using the Skull Lantern very effectively. Like, if you two-hand a weapon or stop blocking, you can't see anymore. Now, the Skull Lantern will temporarily light up some blue lights along the walls, so you can still see to an extent what you're doing. And it's the default option if you don't have magic and haven't gone to Lost Izalith. But I find it easier, especially because the Lost Izalith bosses are either fake difficulty or not too much difficulty regardless, to just get the Sunlight Maggot first on a regular New Game playthrough. Then you don't have to worry about it. You only need to sacrifice a little bit of defense and poise. But alright, viewers, we have reached this bonfire. I'll see you in the next part. Me and team, signing off.